Ladies and gentlemen, a warm welcome to the DKF 24, to the stream Market Data Products and Solutions. I quickly introduce myself. My name is Daniel Winkler. I'm working for MD Next, which stands for Market Data Next Generation. What we do is consulting our clients like you on market data management and also offering via our partner ecosystem solutions based on AI for invoicing, administration, data notification, etc. But now I want to hand over to Andrey. He's leading the Pricing Direct, it's called. Pricing Direct for Govs and European corporates.
Yes, that's correct.
From JP Morgan and his lovely colleague.
Nargis. Thank you. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. So, as said, I work for a Pricing Direct team at JP Morgan, and I'm here to present you our presentation, which is called Independent Valuation in Evolving Markets, which will be primarily about what we do in Pricing Direct and what changes we observe in the market and how we respond to them. Brief intro about the Pricing Direct as a business. So we've started in 2002 by providing pricing services for a small set of securities. We've later expanded further to cover different products. Another important date is in 2007, we've opened the London office. And in 2008, kind of the big thing came is that we've been acquired by JP Morgan. And since when we kind of working together and creating additional value. In 2016, we've expanded to APAC, so we've opened Hong Kong office, and we also, as you see in 2019, we've started covering additional products such as municipal bonds, private placements, and continue expanding. Quite important points about Pricing Direct is that because we are part of JP Morgan, so we do leverage a lot of JP Morgan trading data, research and analytics, and we can use it in our models, in our pricing tools in order to get the market color and make sure that our pricing is in line with the market. We do use real-time market data, so we consistently reflect what's happening on the market and reflecting it in our prices, so then our clients can make sure that their prices is reflecting the latest market changes. Also, very important point is that we do have additional services like Transparency Direct, which allows our client to see how we come up with our pricing, and then the price challenge procedure, which allows clients to challenge the prices if they disagree or feel that there is a better market color. Additional point is that we are compliant with strict audit standards, so our clients get our prices, make sure that they can use it for their audit procedures as well. Moving next to the overview of products which we cover. So we do provide pricing of about 2.8 million securities. The biggest names there is 1.1 million is fixed rate pass-throughs. We have a very large population of municipal bonds in US where we do have a big presence. And then some notable mentions is also CMBS, mortgages, CLOs, and emerging market securities with about 57,000 securities. We tend to use the market data and analytics from JP Morgan, and we trying to expand any different asset classes and kind of by gathering more and more data. Moving to the fixed income evaluation framework. Probably our main expertise is concentrated in fixed income, and it contains mostly the 3 points. So the first point, we gather a lot of market color. So obviously we get it from JP Morgan trading desk, from research teams. We use external data providers such as Trace, other vendors. We get the data from primary and secondary market, and then we also analyze it in terms of checking for the outliers, for the odd lots. The next point is to get the analytics. So by running a quantitative models, we can obtain the information about the spreads, the yields on the bonds, and then use that analytics to construct whether it's a yield curve, whether we need to use comparable securities, or feed it in some other more complicated models. And then the last point is before providing the prices to our clients, we make sure that we do a proper quality control, so we check that the prices are reflective of the latest color, that they are in line with what's actually happening in the market and in line with the benchmarks as well. Moving next to the individual products. So probably the most relevant one to the European market is our European corporate and government bonds universe. We do provide pricing of about 54,000 securities, and as you can see, Germany is our biggest market in terms of coverage, so 14,000 securities, followed by France, Italy, Austria. And we've made a significant expansion over the last year, roughly about 25%. And as you can see, Italy and Austria are driving the expansion. Germany coverage increased by 30%, but Germany is already quite big. And in terms of the industries, we cover all the sectors, but obviously heavily the issuance is dominated in government and financial industries, but we do cover all of them as well. Moving into kind of more in-depth details of our valuation approach, as you can see, we do use quite a lot of curve construction methods, and our really bright quants came up with recently with some new methodology of how to build the smooth yield curves and have these kind of confidence intervals, which allows you to see where the market is at the moment and kind of make sure that the pricing which we provide is actually reflecting the correct curve. Then we also spot for some outliers and remove them in order to make sure that our curve construction process is robust. We also tend to build sector rating level curves in order to kind of provide this additional analytics, and we do it across like 120 different sectors and circa 3,500 issuers in Europe. And by kind of doing all these procedures, we'll make sure that the prices which we provide for a certain security, it is in line with what we see in the market, even if there is no direct trading colors happening right now on that particular security. Moving to the next product, which recently shoot up, is money markets. Now, a couple of years ago, the rates on the money markets were not as attractive as they are now, and we're seeing a significant increase from the client interest coming to us and inquiring about money markets. And followed by that interest, we expanded significantly our coverage in terms of the number of securities we do price. Across USD, GBP, and Euro securities, we now price about 50,000 money market instruments. And as you can see from the evaluation approach, it's very similar to what I mentioned in the beginning. The main challenge was in the money market space is to actually gather in one place all the reference data, because the money markets, they are quite separated in terms of like where the different data is stored. So within JP Morgan and Pricing Direct, we leveraged to gather all the reference data, and then we managed to provide this evaluation. And as you can see, the markets expanded by 3 times, like the coverage universe, and in Europe, we even expanded it by 9 times since last year. Moving to the next product, which also gathered significant attention, is private placements. I don't know if you heard recently, but there are quite a few exchanges thinking about launching private credit platforms, and many banks and asset managers are quite interested in that. So Pricing Direct has responded by, again, increasing significantly coverage, enhancing the methodology in that space, and then making sure that we do leverage. This is the space where the JP Morgan expertise coming from the trading desk is quite important in order to price these instruments correctly, because you can get the insights in terms of how different is the private market versus the public market, and then use that knowledge to price products correctly. And as you can see in the evaluation framework, one of the most important points in the private placement space is to come up with the right premium, and this is where most of the time of evaluators is actually spent to get. In terms of the breakdown of the products covered, so we cover across all the sectors within private placement space. It is dominated at the moment by USD securities, but we are trying actively to expand within European space as well. And in terms of the actual deals, we price pretty much across all the different private placement types. So infrastructure deals, some of the sport deals are quite popular. So in US, we price a lot of NFL, NBA deals. There are some European football clubs, which we also cover. And there are some names of the private placement deals issued by JP Morgan and priced by Pricing Direct. The particular one relevant to Germany is Schwabing. So the German private placement deals, we do provide coverage on them as well, and we leverage some of the expertise of our colleagues who are sitting in Frankfurt. And we pretty much developed a framework which allows us to price all the sectors within the German economy and making sure we are tracking the private placement issuance in that space. So if you're interested in Schwabing, that is something which we will provide. Another product in a securitized space is asset-backed securities. This is where our coverage maybe is not as significant as in standard fixed income space, but this is where the expertise and the approach of Pricing Direct is kind of quite important, because we do develop a multi-dimensional framework where, in order to come to the right price and the right spread, we do add all the different factors, gather the data from trading desk, from the markets, track all the CDS indices, and then make sure that the coverage, the price is actually reflective of what's happening in the market. So as you see, there are individual curves for every type and the kind of every rating bucket for those securities. And in terms of coverage, there's about 5,000 securities. Mortgage-backed is 4.2, and there are smaller for the other types of securities. Another quite important product for Pricing Direct is CLOs. So the coverage there expanded significantly since last year, and we now do price about 22,000 of securities. Again, at the moment, it is dominated by USD, but we are trying to balance it a little bit with increasing our European coverage. And as you're probably aware, the JP Morgan has launched European CLO index recently. We were one of the first in the market to launch it, and Pricing Direct is the sole pricing provider for that index. So if some of you might be interested into tracking that index, Pricing Direct providing the prices for that. And in terms of the evaluation approach, the framework is slightly more complicated. So we do provide the detailed analysis on the collateral and the deal before doing the kind of a standard fixed income approach of gathering color, computing discounting rate curves, and doing the quality controls. This is probably the jewel in the crown of Pricing Direct, in the sense that the emerging markets debt has been a point of significant interest from some of our clients, and our team working hard to expand that coverage. So we do price about 57,000 securities. And while it's been dominated heavily by China, now we are trying to expand in a different regions such as Africa and Middle East, where we are seeing the client interest, and the clients are coming inquiring about those securities. And the important point which could be relevant is that most of these securities, they do have different market conventions. So the Korean and Mexican or Brazilian bonds, they might be pricing differently. And Pricing Direct does provide all the pricing flavors and analytics on those securities. So whichever type of pricing you're using, whether it's clean or inflation or dirty prices, we can provide those. That was kind of the broader coverage of the main fixed income products. And because obviously it's talking about AI, we want to mention what artificial intelligence models we leverage in order to help us to come up with the right pricing. So starting probably with the most complex, which are the neural networks. We do leverage the power of recurrent neural networks and the models such as LSTM in order to analyze the market color and come up with the right spread and yield across our European and municipal bonds universe. And the more data you gather and the more additional kind of factors you can get there, the better is the quality of the pricing model. Now, all these models, they obviously go through the model review group approval within the JP Morgan team to ensure that the accuracy is consistent and the quality of the output is there. And we use it on the evaluator side to make sure that we are getting the right market color. So when there is a situation that there are several market data coming in, this can help in order to get the right market color. Something on the clustering and ensemble methods is that we use the models to come up with the best market color, again, based on the multiple trades we are observing, the biggest size, the best market providers. So we try to use it to get the right pricing. And then the bid-offer spread model as well. So we trained the model in order to come up with the right spread depending on the market condition, depending on the security type. And that's helpful for some of our evaluated bonds. And probably the simplest methods would be on the benchmarking side, where coming up with the right benchmark for the security and then making sure that it is reflecting closely what our evaluated security is helps a lot in order to kind of reflect the latest market movement. Moving next to the another part of our business, which is the derivatives evaluation. Our derivatives team is covering pretty much all the main derivatives classes, whether it's interest rates, equity, FX, and they follow the similar approach, slightly different from the fixed income in terms of the actual model used, but there is also the pricing challenge procedure for our clients if they disagree with something, and they also gather a lot of market color and leverage some of the JP Morgan research and models. They've recently added the Tokyo intraday snapshot for our clients to make sure that if they would like to get those prices in Asia, we can provide it to them. Moving to the additional services which Pricing Direct does provide. So one of them is a validation service, because some of our clients, they're not only interested in getting the prices, but they also want to understand what is the reason behind a certain security moving more than expected or more than market average. And then we do provide an additional market insights in terms of what is the underlying reason behind that movement. So we tend to have a benchmark, either the 10-year treasury bond or the sector level benchmark, and everything which kind of falls into the outlier section based on those benchmarks, we tend to analyze separately and provide those insights to the clients. Another very important point being inquired is the liquidity reporting. So many people actually looking not only to get the prices, but also to understand how liquid is a certain security, whether they would be able to trade or hedge that security. And again, there is a model which we developed which helps us assign liquidity scores to the security based on how good it is trading, what are the trading sizes, what are observed bid-offer spreads. So then we can give the client an estimate of how much would be a potential liquidity cost for their portfolio. Moving next to kind of the other two things, which are, I would say, probably the first one is important for the quantitative analysis and understanding what are kind of the main risk-return parameters on the security. So we do provide quite extensive analytics in terms of the price movement or the kind of the quantitative field, previous history, standard deviation, and all this reporting, which is still used by some of our clients in order to in their trading strategies. And the other point is the backtesting. So we tend to also backtest our prices against the actual trades happening in the market in order to ensure that our models actually reflecting what is happening, and then we are not missing any of the factors. So we, as you see, kind of most of the pricing which we do provide, it falls within the very close range of the actual trades happening. And then if something kind of falls above the normal range, and then we tend to analyze and then make sure that we understand better the market on that side. So in short summary, I would say Pricing Direct as a business, as a subsidiary of JP Morgan, leverages quite a lot of the data analytics and the market color which JP Morgan provides. We don't disclose any of kind of our client details to anybody else within JP Morgan, so we are independent pricing provider. And as you see, we do have a separate methodology process. We do have a board which continuously working on enhancing and making sure that these methodologies are staying in line with the latest requirements. our clients have a direct access to the evaluator. So in case of any challenges or any issues they have, they can communicate with the people responsible for that and make sure that the pricing is actually reflective of the latest market color. And as I said, the fixed income is probably our main area of expertise, but we also cover derivatives pricing. And in terms of the snapshots, when we provide the market data, so we do have two main APAC clauses, which covers pretty much end of day in Asia. There are Central European clauses, which would be relevant to the clients in mainland Europe, 2 London clauses, and then 5 New York clauses for the clients in the United States. That's mostly it from my side. Feel free to ask any questions if you have.
Thank you, Andrey. And we have left over 10 minutes for questions.
Your derivatives pricing service, is that do your clients submit their trade details, it's OTC derivatives, the clients submit their trade details, and then it's your models and your market data calculate price for the OTC, and they get that back. Is that how that works?
So they usually don't even submit the list of trades. They provide list of instruments they interested in getting pricing as. So we don't know whether they traded it or they just simply interested in it. They provide, as you said, they provide kind of the instrument IDs, and then we on our side use our models, use the market data which we observe in order to come up with the pricing.
On the transaction, so the multiple for the small and medium enterprise on real transaction for M&A?
Not at the moment. So you're inquiring about the equity valuation, if I understand correctly. Not at the moment. As you see, at the moment, we are specialized in the fixed income space, but we do receive inquiries about the equities valuations at the moment, and our management is aware about this potential situation.
Any further questions? Just wait for me.
Thank you. So one question from my side, how many people do you more or less employ in this area of pricing, operations and development and so on?
I would say probably more than 100 people across 3 regions.
Any further questions?
What are your other data sources? Because it says that you use your trading models and my voice carries. You say that on one of the slides, I saw somewhere that you use your leverage market data from trading desks and external data providers. Whom are your external data providers?
That depends on the individual product, but as you saw, for example, we leverage the trace data. There are additional for every product that is individual, depending on the coverage we can get. So we're trying obviously to expand to make sure that we do have as much color as possible. And within fixed income space, it might be like one data providers, but then we also tend to look for the niche markets, like if we know that there are certain data vendors which can provide the trade data within like that niche space or within the countries, especially in the emerging markets, is quite relevant. We tend to kind of get that data.
I think this is it. Andrey, thank you.
Thank you.
Again, thank you. And thank you for your time and enjoy the conference.
Thank you. Thank you.